I recognize the Honorable the Premier.
Barack Obama once said, "We have a stake in one another. What binds us together is greater than what drives us apart." In the current political climate here and in the Western world, these words have never been as important to remember. The last few weeks have been challenging for us all here in this legislature. We were all wondering if we would have a speaker, and Mr. Speaker, I want to take the opportunity to thank you for stepping up. You look good in the chair, sir, I'll tell you that. And it has been challenging for us all, including myself. And at times I'd have people come to me and say, "Wow, this must all be so difficult on you. It must be so difficult on Karin. It must be so difficult on the team." Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that I would reflect on what they told me and answer back, I'm living my dream. And my challenge is whether today, at the end of the day, I will be the Premier of New Brunswick or the Leader of the Opposition. These are not challenges, Mr. Speaker. These are incredible opportunities that I'm so blessed to have. Monsieur le Président, je veux prendre un moment pour remercier son honneur, la lieutenant-gouverneur, qui a su naviguer cette période d'incertitude avec brio. J'aimerais remercier les gens de l'ancienne circonscription de Kent. Je ne vais jamais oublier la chance qu'ils m'ont accordée pour m'asseoir ici à l'Assemblée législative et pour le représenter. Je remercie les gens de la circonscription de baie de Chediac-Dieppe de leur appui. C'est un privilège incroyable d'être capable de siéger ici, de représenter la collectivité où j'habite et où je suis né. Je veux remercier tous les libéraux de la province et toutes les personnes qui sont affiliées pour appuyer ma candidature à la direction du parti. Il n'y a aucun doute que je ne serais pas ici si ce n'était pas de leur appui, de leur amitié et des efforts de leur tous. I also want to express my heartfelt thanks to all the voters who elected me as Premier 4 years ago. I am honored and humbled that you have placed your trust in me and our incredible team. Thank you as well to the many New Brunswickers who voted for the Liberal Party in this past election. To all the MLAs in the legislature, and to all those that I've had the privilege of serving with, thank you. Being an elected official is not an easy job, but it is one of the most rewarding ones. Let's never forget that. Although being an MLA can be difficult at times, remember that for every one of us, there are 4 people who ran to be an MLA but were not successful. Thank you to all the candidates from all the parties for putting your hand up to make a difference in your community. Again, let's not forget their service as well. To all the staff of the Premier's Office, the Government Member's Office, the New Brunswick Liberal Association, I appreciate all your hard work and support through the years. Ce sont des personnes qui veulent faire une différence. La province leur tient à cœur. Thank you to the hard-working civil servants who are not thanked as much as they should be for the wonderful work that they do to advance our province. Nous apprécions beaucoup le travail que vous faites pour les gens de notre province. None of us in this legislature can do what we do here without the love and support of our families. Thank you to all the families of the 49 MLAs. Thank you to my family, the Glantz, the Schultens, the Lavois, the Legiers, for their love and support. I want to thank my father for being my sort of campaign manager in his mind. And I want to thank my mother for always keeping me grounded. And I'd like to take a moment, Mr. Speaker, to say it is actually my mother's birthday today. Thank you. I haven't really had the time to go shopping. I was sort of hoping I was going to be able to deliver her a minority government as a present, Mr. Speaker, but we shall see. Finalement, je voudrais prendre quelques instants pour remercier mon épouse, Karine. Without her love and support, I would not be able to do what I do, embark on this political adventure. I would not have been able to live my dream. During the provincial election, New Brunswickers deferred, more so than perhaps ever before, in the political parties they voted for. One only needs to look at the New Brunswick electoral map to conclude that the results of the election could be a demonstration of a divide in this province. There seems to be a divide between North and South, and between Anglophones and Francophones. Ne vous méprenez pas. Le fait qu'il y ait 4 partis politiques représentés à l'Assemblée législative peut être très positif, car cela peut renforcer nos institutions démocratiques en garantissant que les décisions du gouvernement offrent plus de perspectives et ainsi à aider les Néo-Brunswickois et Néo-Brunswickoises à sentir que leurs voix diverses soient entendues. En effet, si la situation de gouvernement minoritaire dans laquelle nous nous trouvons est considérée comme une occasion historique de collaborer à des débats, à des discussions et à des compromis plus solides, nous serons mieux placés pour améliorer la vie des gens du Nouveau-Brunswick. Sinon, nous risquons de diviser notre province plus que jamais auparavant. I'm sorry for not doing better over the last 4 years to unite our province. As Premier, I take full responsibility for the results of the provincial election. Over the last 4 years, I should have spoken more about bilingualism. I should have talked more about its benefits to our economy and to our social fabric. I also should have more frequently acknowledged the concerns of some with regards to how they felt bilingualism was impacting their lives in a negative way, while also publicly busting some of the myths surrounding bilingualism. Ce type de conversation peut renforcer notre détermination à devenir une province officiellement bilingue qui célèbre sa diversité, tant qu'elle est fondée sur des faits et qu'elle est disposée à trouver un terrain d'entente, tout en comprenant que les droits de tous les citoyens et citoyennes doivent être respectés à tout moment. We need this conversation to remind us that we as New Brunswickers have a stake in one another and that what binds us together is greater than what drives us apart. On September 24th, New Brunswickers sent a message that they want us to work collaboratively as political parties to get things done and to help improve the quality of life of the people of this province. For the first time in 100 years, neither the Liberals or the Conservatives won a majority government. This turned the century-old power struggle between the Liberals and Conservatives on its head. Had New Brunswickers wanted a government to make unilateral decisions, they would have elected a majority government. Instead, New Brunswickers voted for change. Let me be clear. New Brunswickers did not vote for a change of which of the political parties is governing, but for a change of how political parties govern. Six years ago, this past Saturday, I was elected leader of the Liberal Party of New Brunswick on a platform that promised a new approach. I came to this legislature with many lofty ideas on how we could collaborate across party lines. In fact, in my first question period as Leader of the Opposition, I offered to cooperate with the government of the day in any way that I could. One of my greatest regrets as a legislator is that over time, I became too jaded and fell into some of the old adversarial ways of this place. I thank New Brunswickers for the wake-up call they sent me on election night. I will heed their call. Collaboration and cooperation will be the approach I will take as a member of this House, no matter which position I'll be occupying. La situation de gouvernement minoritaire dans laquelle nous nous trouvons est inédite pour la plupart des gens du Nouveau-Brunswick et crée une certaine confusion, mais elle représente une occasion historique de faire les choses différemment, de mieux faire les choses en travaillant ensemble. Malheureusement, dans notre pays, comme à travers le monde occidental, plusieurs personnes ont développé une méfiance et un dédain pour la politique. Cela fragilise notre démocratie, notre contrat social et nos institutions, c'est-à-dire tout ce qui protège nos droits et nos libertés. C'est pourquoi nous devons apporter une réponse à ces gens. J'ai la profonde conviction, et je sais que je ne suis pas le seul, que la meilleure réponse à apporter est la collaboration et le respect. Politics around the world are becoming more polarized, more tribal in nature. This leaves us living in a society with no discussion of shared values, no common set of facts from which to develop policy. This doesn't mean we can't have strong debates, but they should be debates on policy, not a game of political points gained by sowing seeds of cynicism and suspicion around those who have chosen to serve in public office. Let us be reminded that what binds us together as MLAs working on behalf of our constituents is greater than what drives us apart. We all, including me, therefore need to stop suggesting that the people serving in this House have ulterior motives and hidden agendas. All of us have chosen to serve to better the province. All of our parties have spoken about the cynicism in politics. Well, the source of that cynicism starts here in this legislature. The solution to that cynicism, therefore, must start here in this legislature as well. En accueillant favorablement la situation actuelle de gouvernement minoritaire, nous aurons l'occasion de trouver un terrain commun, de faire entendre une plus grande diversité de perspectives ici à l'Assemblée législative. Le système dans lequel nous fonctionnons permet au gouvernement en place d'essayer d'obtenir la confiance de l'Assemblée dans une situation de gouvernement minoritaire. Nous nous sommes sentis obligés de le faire en nous basant sur le fait que nous avons reçu un niveau de soutien supérieur à tout autre parti politique durant la campagne, ainsi que sur le fait que notre parti comptait le plus grand nombre de régions représentées par des députés, et afin de tenter d'offrir un gouvernement progressiste fort et stable qui travaille au nom de tous les gens du Nouveau-Brunswick avec un agenda collaboratif. En effet, la grande majorité des engagements pris dans le discours du Trône devant nous ont été soulevés dans les plateformes de 2 partis politiques ou plus, tout en restant fidèles à nos valeurs et principes libéraux. We have put forward an agenda that we think, based on content, should be and could be supported by the other political parties in this legislature. Le discours du Trône offre aux Néo-Brunswickoises et Néo-Brunswickois un nouveau cadre de travail axé davantage sur la collaboration et la coopération. Mr. Speaker, to be frank, the exercise of going through each of the political parties' platforms was a great reminder that what binds us together is greater than what drives us apart. For us, supporting families and communities is at the heart of our government's agenda. Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little." It is with this principle in mind that we ask the richest 1% in our province and large corporations to pay a bit more so that we could invest more in programs that help low-income and middle-class families. It wasn't easy to ask them to contribute more, but we did it to create a fairer economy for all New Brunswickers. The agenda we laid out in the speech from the Throne, Mr. Speaker, will continue that work as it commits to raising the minimum wage and advancing pay equity in the private sector so we can put more money in the pockets of New Brunswickers to help families that are struggling to get ahead. Every political party has recognized the need to act swiftly and aggressively to strengthen ambulance services and address the paramedic shortage in New Brunswick. By working together, there's no doubt we will be able to improve the ambulance services for all New Brunswickers, including in rural areas. Le discours du Trône traite de cet enjeu de façon spécifique, comme il a été demandé par les plateformes de tous les partis politiques. Il est clair, par la façon dont les gens de New-Brunswick ont voté lors de la dernière élection, qu'ils veulent des mesures soient prises en ce qui concerne l'utilisation de l'herbicide glyphosate. Nous en sommes conscients et nous sommes prêts à collaborer avec d'autres partis politiques pour prendre des mesures concrètes. L'équilibre budgétaire a été discuté et débattu en profondeur par les partis politiques au cours de la campagne. Le discours du Trône établit un échéancier plus rapide pour atteindre l'équilibre budgétaire. And through all party committees, we will examine issues that matter to New Brunswickers, including resource royalty rates, the medical billing number system, electoral reform, financial assistance to industry, municipal governance, and industrial assessment exemptions. La croissance de l'économie demeure une priorité pour le gouvernement et nous poursuivons plusieurs initiatives pour atteindre cet objectif. Votre gouvernement travaillera avec les propriétaires de petites et moyennes entreprises pour éliminer les formalités administratives inutiles. To ensure a vibrant economy, we must further develop a strong workforce. This is why we will work to restore trades to every high school, eliminate interest on provincial student loans, and work with our universities and community colleges to provide free second language training to any interested New Brunswick adult. We will work with our partners in the healthcare system to develop a nurse recruitment, retention, and training strategy and hire more nurse practitioners and more nurses. And we will work to expand the role of nurse practitioners, midwives, and other health professionals. We will create more health centers to reduce emergency room wait times, expand investments in mental health services, ensure women receive breast density information, and ensure no rural or regional hospital will ever be closed. Hey, hey! Nous ferons progresser les initiatives visant à aider les personnes âgées à vivre de manière autonome et nous voulons augmenter les heures de soins pour les résidents des foyers de soins. Hey, hey. Nous prendrons également des mesures concrètes pour lutter contre le changement climatique. Nous devons à nos enfants et à nos petits-enfants, alors que nous devons relever l'un des plus grands défis auxquels l'humanité est confrontée. Cela nécessitera des mesures d'efficacité énergétique à la fois pour les propriétaires et les entreprises, l'élimination de la production d'électricité liée au charbon et l'expansion des sources d'énergie renouvelables et non émettrices. It is important we make sure our economy and society are fair for all New Brunswickers. We want to work with all political parties to eliminate structural barriers created by poverty as they exclude certain citizens from playing the part they wish to play in our economy and society. We want to also create a government department focused on promoting women's equality, continue the work of the Labour Government Steering Committee, and ensure New Brunswick Indigenous people are treated with respect and fairness through the implementation of the calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It has been said that the best social program is a job. Well, I believe this to be true, but incomplete. The best social program is a job coupled with the opportunity to be educated and trained to do that job. That is why during our mandate we have invested more in education, early childhood development, and training. We want to invest even more moving forward. These investments help lift people out of poverty, develop a strong workforce, and they change people's lives. That's why we created programs to help the middle class with the cost of childcare and tuition. It is also why we created the free tuition and free childcare programs, allowing those that need the most support the chance to pursue their studies, land a job opportunity, and chase their dreams. Hey, hey, hey. In addition, to continue the spirit of collaboration, we introduced a sub-amendment to the Speech from the Throne to incorporate views expressed by members of all parties during debate over the past week. The exercise of including feedback from the other parties in our agenda was unfortunately ridiculed by all the other political parties. Old habits die hard. This was a sincere exercise to listen to all the perspectives in this legislature because we respect their perspectives as they help represent the perspectives of the people of our province. We understand that the sub-amendment was something that was unprecedented, but we find ourselves here in this legislature in an unprecedented time.
Yes, absolutely.
I humbly suggest that we have demonstrated that we are truly ready to collaborate with other political parties by committing to do things that are important to them and the New Brunswickers they represent. Pour rester fidèle aux valeurs et aux principes qui me sont chers et à ceux de notre parti, il y a certaines choses que nous ne ferons pas. I will not change my values or principles to remain in power. I will not back down from pushing for policies and investments that will help families that are struggling to get ahead in our province. I will not prioritize the bottom line over much-needed investments in education and health care. And I will not infringe on any New Brunswickers' rights, even if it costs me the premiership. It is the role of a premier, prime minister, or president for that matter, to protect her or his citizens' rights. That means every single one of their citizens. No exceptions. Je vais défendre les droits linguistiques. Il fait du tort à tous les Néo-Brunswickois quand un politicien, en particulier un premier ministre ou quelqu'un qui tente d'être premier ministre, utilise des droits d'une personne comme bouc émissaire pour gagner des points politiques à court terme ou pire, pour gagner le pouvoir politique. During the last 4 years, our Liberal government has consistently stood up for New Brunswickers' rights and promoted diversity. We eliminated the unconstitutional two-doctor rule that was hindering a woman's right to choose for over 25 years here in New Brunswick. In 2016, working with communities across the province, we welcomed the most Syrian refugees displaced by the humanitarian crisis per capita of all the provinces in the country. Nous avons inclus la chirurgie de confirmation de genre médicalement nécessaire à la liste des services assurés au Nouveau-Brunswick. And I am proud to be the first and only premier in the history of our province to walk in a pride parade. It is imperative that we take the division that seems to be happening within our province and the discussion about potentially infringing certain rights seriously. As Abraham Lincoln once said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." He went on to say, "I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other." Let's make sure we are proud of who we become as New Brunswickers when we cease to be divided. Par contre, les Néo-Brunswickois et Néo-Brunswickoises ont peut-être divergé quand est venu le temps de voter pour un parti politique. Cependant, au cours des 4 dernières années, j'ai appris que ce qui nous unit est plus vaste que ce qui nous divise. Je peux vous dire que peu importe d'où nous venons, du nord ou du sud du Nouveau-Brunswick, des régions urbaines ou rurales, de Belledune, Beresford, Blackville ou Boctouche, de St. Andrew, Saint-Jean, Saint-Quentin, Sainte-Marie-de-Quette ou Saint-Marie-Saint-Raphaël, from Miramichi or Mummeram-Cook, Edmondson or Elsie-Bucktuck, Caracat or Camelton, Riverview or Dieppe, Grand Manan or Grand Falls, Sussex or Sackville, from Fredericton, Minto, Quispam-Cis or Shediac Bridge. We all have a stake in one another. What binds us together is greater than what drives us apart. Peu importe qui nous sommes, anglophones, francophones, Premières Nations ou nouveaux arrivés, nous sommes tous des Néo-Brunswickoises et Néo-Brunswickois qui, dans l'ensemble, veulent les mêmes choses. Nous voulons toutes et tous que notre famille et nos amis soient heureux et vivent une vie satisfaisante. Nous voulons toutes et tous léguer à la prochaine génération un meilleur Nouveau-Brunswick, ce qui signifie que nous souhaitons toutes et tous voir la croissance économique se poursuivre et notre santé fiscale s'améliorer, notre environnement être protégé, notre culture se propager et les services aux citoyens et citoyennes être renforcés. Ensemble, nous devons prendre des décisions qui protégeront ce que la génération avant nous a construit et qui permettront de construire la province dans laquelle vivront la prochaine génération. Together, we have a lot to figure out. How will we grow the economy in a way that it benefits more New Brunswickers? How will we curb the aging population challenge before us by keeping our young people here and bringing them back here and welcoming new Canadians here? How we will ensure that we give the best services possible to seniors and to our families with the extra pressures on health care? Comment que nous allons renforcer l'éducation, la formation, et la petite enfance. We understand, Mr. Speaker, that education is by far the best investment we can make for the future economic prosperity of our province, and at the same time, it is the best social equalizer. Comment que nous allons travailler ensemble pour améliorer la qualité et les temps d'attente pour notre système de soins de santé? Comment que nous allons faire croître l'économie tout en protégeant l'environnement? How are we going to grow the economy and make sure that we do everything we can to include First Nations from start to finish, from challenges to benefits? And how are we going to ensure that we continue to advance women's equality in this province, not only because it's the right thing to do, but because it will strengthen our families, communities, economy, and society? This is going to take patience, humility, and leadership from all 49 members in the House, both from those accustomed to exercising political power and those accustomed to holding those in power accountable. It is going to take all 49 of us sincerely believing that we have a stake in one another and that what binds us together is greater than what drives us apart. In the end, Mr. Speaker, this government, this group of individuals behind me, will respect the decision of this legislature, just as we respect the decision of the people. We intend to continue to serve and pursue an agenda of collaboration no matter what happens today. We all have a lot to learn. For years, politicians have talked about doing politics differently. Well, it took the citizens of the province to demand that we now walk the talk. The agenda that is laid out in this throne speech is a first attempt to show New Brunswickers that we got their message. No doubt it is imperfect, but we think it's a solid starting point for a new era of politics in this province, and worthy of support in the People's House. We do, Mr. Speaker, humbly ask for the support of the 49 MLAs. Nous sommes face à une situation complexe, mais c'est aussi une opportunité historique. Parmi nous, une personne peut littéralement décider de l'avenir de toute la province. In this historic moment, Mr. Speaker, one person can literally change the course of the history of our province. It's quite the responsibility. This is no surprise to me, however, Mr. Speaker, as it is exactly the inspirational thesis espoused by one of my favorite quotes. It's one by Margaret Mead, and I'll leave you with this: never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Merci beaucoup.